Welcome to Coach Joe's Math. We're going to talk about 9.8, simple interest in the book. 9.8, section 9.8. You should always go back after you watch the video and read the book, the pages in the book, and you might find something that you can write a little differently on, an explanation of the vocab or something like that, and also look at the examples they give you. So we're talking about simple interest today. And this one can be a little tricky, but again, you have to learn the vocab and you have to know what I'm talking about or the book's talking about whenever they say a vocab word. If you don't know, you're going to be lost. So the main thing you have to do after this video is you have to learn this vocab like you did from the last section coming up so that you know how to do the problems. I'm not going to start. This is simple interest, and these are all capital letters, and it's I equals PRT. But to keep it basic, we're going to go over the PRT first. So P is principal, and you have to learn how to spell these. P-R-I-N-C-I-P-A-L. The principal is a sum of money. It's either money that I am borrowing to buy something. If I want to buy a house, I'll borrow money from the bank and have a mortgage, so I have to pay the money back. The money that I borrow from them is called the principal. That's the lump sum that I need. I need this money. I want to buy a new car. I want to buy a boat. I want to go to college. It's the money that I borrow. Or it's the money that I put in the bank. I put my money in a savings account. It's the money that I put in that bank. Or it's the money I invest in stocks. It's the principal. It's what I bring to the table. What can I invest? How much money do I have that I can go put away for a while and not touch it and save money? And I would get interest on the money that I'm saving. They're going to pay me to put my money with them. If the stocks go up, I'm making money. But we're not going to talk about the stock market. We're going to talk about straight up savings. I've got cash. I'm going to put it in a savings account, or I'm going to put it in what they call a CD, a certificate of deposit. We'll talk about that in a second. So you just need to know that the principal is the sum of money that I need to borrow to buy something, or the sum of money that I have that I want to put in a bank, in a savings account, and save money. Principal, it's a lump sum of money. The rate is always a percentage. It's the rate that they're going to charge me to borrow the money so I can buy something. Nobody's going to give me, if I want to go to college and I need to borrow $50,000 for my first year, and it's actually more at WashU. I think it's up to 68 or something. But when my daughter went there, it was $50,000 a year. So I'm going to borrow, she's going to borrow $50,000 to go to school the first year. She didn't have to do that, but nobody's going to give her $50,000. Maybe we will, but the bank is not going to give her $50,000. Oh, here's $50,000. Pay us back over time. No, you have to pay them interest, and that's what the rate is. It's an interest rate. You have to pay them an interest rate so that they can borrow. You can borrow money from them so that they make something to let you have money. You can't just go get $50,000 and pay it back with no interest. They're going to charge you. So the rate is what you have to pay to borrow the money. Or the rate can also be, it's always a percent, is the money that if I put my money in a savings account or a certificate of deposit, which means I can't touch it for however long I decide I'm going to put it in there, they're going to give me an interest rate to invest my money with them. I wouldn't put $10,000 in a bank if I don't get anything. It just sits there, and I just put more money in all the time. I'm giving it to, I just might as well keep that in my safe at home. But if I put it in a bank, in a savings account, they're going to pay me money to keep my money there. So that's an interest rate. So an interest rate can be, you can have a rate where you have to pay it to borrow money, or it's an interest rate that I'm going to invest. Invest is the word that you need to know. Invest my money. That means I'm saving it. They're paying me to do that. Hey, Webster. T in this is time, and that is based on an annual interest rate, interest is based on a year. When it's simple interest, it's based on a year. So I'm going to put my money in there for 5 years, and they're going to calculate the interest every year. It's, even though it's based on a year, sometimes I might, if I'm going to invest my money and I'm going to put $10,000 in the bank and they're going to pay me 6% interest rate for 3 years, that means that the 3 years would be the T, because the time is based on years. So if it's just straight up a years, like 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 2 years, 1 year, you put the number, the whole number for T. If it's a fraction or it's months, like it's just 6 months, I'm going to borrow some money and I'm going to pay them back. They're going to charge me interest, but I'm going to pay them back in 6 months. So I don't put 6 in there because the T is based on a year. I have to express months as a year. So it would be 6 over 12 would go where the T is. And I'm going to show you how all that works. So 6 over 12, or you could simplify it to 1/2, or you could write the decimal 0.5. But you can't put 6 because it's not 6 years, it's 6 months. If I give you 18 months that you're going to pay the money back, you're going to borrow money for 18 months, you don't put it over 24 months, you put it over 12 months because time is only 1 year. So I would put 18 over 12 because there's 12 months in a year. And I'd simplify that to 3 to 2, or I could multiply and put the decimal 1.5. You can use any of that for T. If I put 2.5 years, I could put the decimal 2.5 into the equation, into the formula, or I could put it as 30 over 12. I could leave it like that. Or I could simplify it to 5 over 2, or go back to 2.5. Is that right? 2, 4. Yeah, right. Okay. So that takes us there. Now, let's see how we use it. So the first thing you have to do on every single problem is you have to write the formula every single time. I equals PRT. Well, let's talk about the interest now. This is a little scale that'll help you understand it. I is the interest. We either borrow money or we save money. Whatever money we're borrowing, whatever money we're saving is called the principal. That's the amount of money I'm going to borrow because I need it, or that's the amount of money I'm going to put in the bank because I want to save it. So the principal, if interest, you're either going to borrow money or save money, and the money that you're going to borrow or save is called the principal. That's right. Now, if you borrow money, you have to pay the interest on the top of the principal. You have to pay to take that money, right? So the simple interest formula lets you find how much interest that is. So when I borrow it, I have to pay the interest back. And I figure that out by using the formula. If I save money, I'm either going to deposit, it's called deposit money. If you see the word deposit, you're saving money. Certificate of deposit is a CD, you're saving money. When you're borrowing, you're just straight up borrowing. I'm borrowing money. You get paid interest on top of the principal when you save money. But both of these, the balance is principal plus the interest to borrow the money is the balance. So I have to pay back the money I borrowed, which is the principal, and the interest. So I have to add those two together to get the balance of what I owe. Or if I'm saving money and I put the principal in the bank, they're going to pay me interest on top of that. Then I add them together still, the principal and the interest, but it's my money and it's all is mine. I get to keep the principal that I put in the bank and I get to get the interest they're paying me. If I'm borrowing the money, the balance represents what I have to pay back to the company or the bank, whoever I have to pay back the principal and the interest. And if I'm earning money, the bank people or whoever I've invested with, they're paying me. So I get that money plus my principal back because it's my money, right? Okay. Now here are two types of problems. We will have word problems, and that's why you need to know the terminology. Because they'll be in a word problem and you should be able to pick it out. You write the formula first. This is what the book is going to give you on a couple of problems you're going to do tonight. You write the formula first. I equals PRT. Well, this one, they want you to find the interest. And then it says, what is the balance on this problem? Well, you don't know the balance until you find the interest. But we know that the principal that I don't know if I'm borrowing or saving. It doesn't matter. The principal is the lump sum of money that I either need or I'm investing. So I bring down the I, and then I do the substitution property of equality, and I replace all these numbers in here for the PRT. And it makes it easy for a calculator. So P is 4,000, and I put it in parentheses, and you'll see why. The R is 4.5%. Well, you learned in the last chapter how to change a percent to a decimal. So right away, when you see the R as a percent, change it, move it to divide by 100, and go ahead and change that percent to a decimal. Because you can't put the percent number in the formula. You have to change it to a decimal. So it becomes 0.045. That's the decimal for 4.5%. And then I have time, which is 5 years. Well, I just stick the 5 on there. I just stick the 5 on there. I don't have to do anything else because it's based on years. I don't need to put any months. Now, all I do is I go on my calculator. This is my work. The formula, plugging in, you have to put the I, and we're going to put, let me put my glasses on. We're going to say 4,000 times 0.045 times 5. So the interest equals, I equals $900. Is that my balance? No, it's not my balance. It's my interest. What's my balance? Let's say I borrowed $4,000. Do I only have to pay back $900? If you said yes, I want to borrow money from you, because then I could just take the money I borrowed from you and turn around and give you the interest. I have to pay it all back. So you have to say B equals 4,000 plus 900. The balance is $4,900. You have got to write that. B equals, B is balance. Then you'll have over here, you'll get a problem where you have the interest and you have to find a missing part. Now this is where I was telling you, like with that percent equation last chapter, and I told on the last test, I said you got to show your work as a one-step equation. This is why. So we have to write I equals PRT. Well, we plug in I. We substitute and put in what we know to find out what we don't know. So I is 13.98. The P is P. We don't know what the principal is. We know that the rate is 3.6%, but what are we supposed to change that to? We don't leave it a percent. We immediately change it to a what? That's right, a decimal. So we get 0.036. So the rate is 0.036. Now, what's our time? 4 months. We don't stick a 4 in there. That's right, we write it as a fraction. Over what number? You could put it right here, 4 twelfths. Now you could put 4 twelfths here, or you could simplify it to 1/3. Don't put 0.333 here because you'll miss it, because it's a repeating decimal. But this is cool, because look, we've got a missing part. So we're going to simplify, because we don't know what P is, but we can multiply these two. And the way you do it on the calculator is you go from left to right. You go 0.036 times 1 divided by 3. You just go in order. And that comes out is 0.012. We're going to put that is P, and when we multiply these two, we get 0.012. You take that with you, because look what we have to do. What do we have to divide both sides by? That's why I made you do the percent equation showing me all your work. You have to divide both sides by 0.102. 0.012. Okay, so I have 13.98 divided by 0.012. It's $1,165. That is the principal. That's how much money I either borrowed or I saved. But what do? I need one more question answered. What is the balance? Well, the P is $1,165. That's the amount I borrowed or I saved. What's my interest? I didn't have to find my interest. They gave me my interest, $13.98. So I'm going to add $13.98 to this. When I have $13.98, 13.98, 1165 plus 13.98 is $1,178.98. I want to make sure something. I want to go 13.98 divided by 0.012. Yeah, it's 1165. So this is the B, the balance, and you would write capital B. All of these are capital. The word problems are just going to take it and say you borrowed the principal. If you borrow money or you save money, you have to know that's the P, and we'll get more into that later. I might make another video, or I'll have some instruction in class about that. Anyway, have a good day. Take some notes. Look at the pages in the book and reread those too and see if that helps you. You can always drop into my office hours or to study hall for extra help. Call a friend. This is pretty straightforward. Your parents know how this works too. Bye-bye. You guys have a good day.